From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
So perfect timing with the first big Oath Keepers meeting coming up on the Green in Lexington, where it all started in 1775, April 19th, 1775. So, Stewart Rhodes, great to have you back, my friend.
Honored to be back again. Thank you very much.
You bet, Stewart. Give us your take. I mean, this is the biggest news story out there right now, in and around the Tea Parties, is the media saying the Tea Parties are evil terrorists who are basically cop killers, is what they're trying to say, and they're a bunch of right-wingers when it isn't about left or right. They're desperate to divide the American people. Can you explain to folks what that military tactic is?
Oh, sure, divide and conquer. Oh, Alex, one thing I wanted to correct, though, is I was never a ranger. I was a long-range reconnaissance scout. So I just want to make sure, so no one accuses me of falsifying my records.
Well, you were in the Army and Special Forces, right? That's what that basically is?
I was in the Army, I was a paratrooper, and I did long-range reconnaissance scouting for the 9th Division.
So you were in the Airborne?
Yes, I was airborne. Right.
Okay, great.
Different airborne units. Yeah, Rangers and Special Forces are just specialized versions of paratroopers. Well,
I understand
say that, but they're all paratroopers, but they're different units. So,
okay. You were in the Army and jumped out of airplanes. You were jumping out of airplanes. Okay, there we go.
Until I hit a big tree one night. That was it. So, well, yeah, I was at the Knoxville rally yesterday. I was a guest speaker there, and I can tell you that it's not left and right. Like you said, it's two puppets. It's a very good analogy. Two puppets being held by the same master. And so whether they're on the far left or the far right or whatever their label you want to put on, fascist or communist or whatever it is, it's about totalitarianism versus freedom. And so, like you said, we get back to the very basics of our republic, back to core Americanism, Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and being consistent. And I've been very consistent. I criticized Bush, everything he did. People can go to my personal blog and I'll put a link of mine on the Oath Keeper site. They can go there. I'm getting tired of hearing people email in and say, where were you when Bush was doing this, when Bush was doing that? Well, I was criticizing him publicly in multiple places, writing articles all the time. And so, just as any other people, there's a massive of Americans who are waking up, and they understand the left-right paradigm is a false paradigm, and they are consistently opposing whoever they are. Because it's a bipartisan assault on our rights.
And that worries the system. And just to interrupt, 2 weeks ago, it's in the local newspaper that they're going to run regular Army checkpoints and Air Force MPs in Tennessee. The governor gets called. He goes out and does a press release saying, I didn't hear about this, but now I'm canceling it. And then it came out in newspapers that the Army, with the state police and the feds and the Air Force, shut down major highways. This is in the news, with photos of the cars backed up, with troops searching vehicles, and the military just said, you know what, we're going to do it. So, and this has gotten hardly any attention. But you say you're in Tennessee. Stewart, this is amazing. We've got to make a big deal out of this.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one thing that happens all the time. And Hitler did the same thing. He destroyed the independence of the provinces. He solidified power at the national level, and he made each province just a puppet. And that's the pattern that every tyrannical government goes through, destroying any separation of powers between the national government and local government. And so one thing I did want to announce is that for our April 19th rally on the Lexington Green in Lexington, Massachusetts, this Sunday, we have added Richard Mack as going to be one of our guest speakers, and also Guy Cunningham, who was the author of the 29 Palms survey where they asked Marines whether or not they would fire on Americans who were resisting gun confiscation. He's a patriot, and he wrote that because he was concerned about the pattern he saw of the troops not understanding the Constitution and being conditioned to accept UN command and other things that he found disturbing and contrary to our Constitution.
And Stewart, do me a favor. Make sure, in fact, can you get us his number? I want to make sure I can get him aside for 20, 30 minutes to interview him, yourself, and everybody else. I am sending a crew of 2 people up there. I'm sending Aaron Dykes and Rob Dew. So I really look forward to that. So please try to today to give Rob that fella's number, because I want to line up the interview before we get there. But that's very exciting. You also have a famous Navy SEAL captain there, correctly, and a lot of other folks. Tell people about that.
Well, we're gonna have an oath ceremony there on the Green to renew all of us who took an oath to defend the Constitution will renew our oath right there on Lexington Green on April 19th. And it's can be a very historic and very emotional experience, I'm sure. We've got active duty military flying in from all over the country, active duty police. We've got high-ranking military officers coming in there. They're going to be there in their dress uniform, and then also us veterans. And we also invite just average citizens who've never taken an oath before, but they want to come and take the oath for the first time. They can raise their right hand. I did that yesterday at Knoxville. It was an exciting, it was just a wonderful experience. A crowd of about 2,000 people raised their hand and swore an oath to defend the Constitution. It was fantastic. And the video for that is up on our website at oath-keepers.blogspot.com. oath-keepers.blogspot.com. You folks can go there and watch that video. So we're going to do the same thing again on Lexington Green. To me, it's really the first public meeting of Oath Keepers, though, because yesterday these are folks who didn't even know who we were, and I just showed up there as a guest speaker and kind of caught them off guard, but got them all to stand up and raise their right hand and reaffirm their oath or take the oath for the first time. And so this is gonna spread like wildfire, because we've got the state police training manuals that the feds put out. And then we even have the footage of squad car video in my film Road to Tyranny. At a warrantless checkpoint, they find a pocket Constitution in the woman's car and flip out and arrest her for it. And it's them on video going, I can't believe she's got one of these. She's one of them deadly ones. I saw that. I remember seeing that. And that's why we got to stand up. And that's why it has to be done, I think. The tip of the spear, just as it is in warfare, needs to be the hardcore troops, the guys who've been there, and the police to stand up and say, you know what? We are constitutionalists. You want to paint them as constitutionalists and separate us from them? Well, guess what? We are constitutionalists, which is exactly why you saw that Department of Homeland Security, the latest report, they call it a report, it's just propaganda, labeling returning veterans as a potential terrorist threat. It's just amazing. Well, that's what it is. Frankly, they're screwing up. It is, well, in fact, comment on that. It is a secret police commissariat political police report like the Soviet Union or Nazi Germany or Maoist China. I mean, out of the textbook, it says the number one threat is returning troops, gun owners, people buying all these guns and ammo. This is the number one terror threat. That is a quote, and they have really upset people. And can't the police put two and two together? Most of the police are former military. They're saying you're the threat. And what's the first thing Hitler wiped out when he got power? When he was going to betray everybody and do the opposite of what he said. He killed the police and military in the Night of the Long Knives. So explain to folks how big a deal this is, and I agree, they screwed up by doing this. Break it down. Absolutely. I mean, what they're trying to do is a purge and chill your speech. They want returning veterans to be concerned and worried that they're going to be labeled a terrorist. Apparently they see anybody who took an oath to defend the Constitution. I'm starting to think this. They must think that we are a threat because they know we mean it, and they know we're going to keep our oath. And so this is their preemptive way of starting to label returning veterans as crazy and kooky and potential terrorist threats and all McVeighs, that kind of thing. When maybe to get them to chill their speech and not become politically active or not become active in organizations like Oath Keepers. So, but the way to fight that is just with light. Shine a light on it like you've been doing. You shine a light on the cockroaches, they scurry away. Shine a light. But you know what? I think the Obama administration has made some disastrous mistakes. I mean, talking about having veterans pay for their own medical care, it just ticked off every veteran, every current serving military there is, and then now this. And the American Legion's ticked off about this also. They've sent another letter to Napolitano, the bad Napolitano, not the good one. They sent a letter to her making it very clear that she should know better. This is ridiculous, And by the way, she has now come out and says that she doesn't apologize for these reports. That's right. She says, I have to look at every possible threat. So, once again, if you're a constitutionalist, you're a possible threat. And you know what? We are. Quite frankly, we're not a threat to the American people. We're not terrorists, but we are a threat to their attempt to destroy our republic. By God, we better be. Everyone is sworn up to defend the Constitution. Of course, we're not going to just stand by and let that happen. So, but they're coming right out. No, exactly. We have the Bill of Rights, Constitution, Declaration of Independence, common law, common sense, organic law on our side. You have these foreign bankers usurping our country through the executive, both parties stealing $12.8 trillion in 6 months, the GDP in half a year.
They're totally taking over. They're violating our rights and liberties at every level. They're butchering, every basic canon of a free society. We are in the right under the Declaration of Independence to arrest all these people through the grand juries, through indictments. So they've got to declare us the enemy and us the terrorist, because they are the ones terrorizing our liberty. They are the criminals. They are the ones that must be brought to justice. It's so simple. They have to indict us, accuse us, demonize us, because what they're doing is so outrageous and criminal. They know if the people ever get control of this country again, they're all going to prison. And so this is a very bold action. I keep telling people the elite are going for broke. The level of crimes and looting and corruption they have engaged means they are going all the way to the wall, folks. This is not a drill or not an exercise. They plan a hot revolution in this country of power and tyranny. They are the revolutionaries. We are the restorationists. We just want our Bill of Rights and Constitution and liberty, not their old-time religion of tyranny. They claim they're doing a new world order. Everything with them is a lie. It's the old world order, the, Roman tyranny. Go ahead.